This is episode number 881 of the InnerFight Podcast. This week, I bring you Zoom Out. Some of you might be wondering what I'm going to speak about in this week's 5-Minute Mondays. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being on, in, or around, or sharing, or listening to the podcast, no matter when or where you do it. This week is all about planning. It's all about setting yourself up for success and trying to avoid stress, anxiety, and also because sometimes when we are additionally stressed or additionally anxious about something, we might hit failure when actually with a little bit of planning, we don't really need to. And that's why the title of this week's show is called Zoom Out. How do you plan your life? Is a question I want you to think about quickly. Yes, it is only 5 minutes, so it will be a lot in a short period of time. But how do you plan your life? Are you someone that plans from 1 minute to the next, 1 hour to the next, 1 day to the next, 1 week to the next? Is it months? Is it years? Some people plan in 5-year blocks for certain parts of their life, but in other parts of their life, they plan literally from minute to minute. To look, feel, and perform the absolute best you can, I want to encourage you to zoom out a little bit. And if you are good at planning on a 5-year basis, as maybe you do on a financial level, or some companies ask for 5-year business plan, 10-year business plans. We see it a lot in the region at the moment. We've got visions for 2030, 2040, and 2050. These are all really macro and zoomed out visions. Sometimes 5 years and 1 year is a little bit, maybe that causes anxiety for people. Maybe some people don't plan at all. They just, if they've got some time at the end of the day, they'll go and do a workout. If they've got some time, they'll cook some food. What I want to try and encourage you to do is put time into your schedule that's actually planning time. Monthly basis is really good for this when it comes to health and fitness. Take into consideration what your commitments are. For some people, that could start with family commitments. For others, it will start with work commitments. And for some people, which I think this is maybe a, let's say, privileged few, it starts with their training commitments that they're actually able to put into their calendar first. No matter which camp you're in, if it's family, travel, or health and fitness commitments, let's try and put them into the calendar first. A simple example I'll work through is not unusual for this region where people do have a lot of travel. People are traveling locally, people are traveling around the region, and people are traveling further distances as well. Those travels need, in most cases, prep time and recovery time. So take a look at your planner for the month, put in what commitments you have on a travel level. A lot of people will try and believe that they can do a lot of training and take care of their health and fitness around travel until they realize that the locations they go to don't have the food, don't have the beds, and don't have the facilities to train and to live and to recover the same way they do at home. So be careful where you put your next bit, which after you've put your travel, your training could come, or your family, whichever it is. Start to put in where your training is going to be in that particular month. Then put in your social commitments. And this is really in no order. I personally try and put in, might get in trouble for this, training, family, work, and other. What it means is that I know exactly what I'm going to get out of the month. Sometimes I have to give up training for family or for work, often, but at least I know. Then you're going to have this whole plan that you can look at, and you're not going to get caught in the moment because you're going to know that in a week where perhaps you have a very long international trip, that your training might not be great. But your training for the other 3 weeks might be absolutely awesome because you're here and you have low commitments on work and family levels. And therefore, you're able to get a lot of training in. So that week that you're not able to train when you're traveling, if you looked at it under a microscope and you're only planning day to day and week to week, you might see that week as something pretty poor. But when you zoom out, you see it, how it blends into the whole month. It's actually not really a problem because 1 week of no training due to travel has left time for 3 weeks of a lot of training due to low commitments. 3 months quarterly is also a really interesting way to plan your training, your health, fitness, and well-being. If you are thinking on a Sunday night, what am I going to do for this week for my health and fitness? And then you're getting to Friday and the plan that you kind of had but didn't really have didn't work, then I really strongly encourage you, it might be time to zoom out, look at things on a monthly, quarterly, you could go bigger, I've said it through the show, annual basis of what you want to achieve with your health, and then start to put a plan in place. And if you need help, give us a shout. winning@innerfight.com. Thanks a lot for listening. I'll catch you next time.